Jay Leno's garage isn't just a collection. It's a time capsule of automotive history. He doesn't chase the latest supercars or flashy nameplates. For Leno, the rarer and more fascinating, the better. Leno once said, "You don't buy the car so much as you buy the story." And with his own museum and expert team of mechanics, he keeps these stories alive. Let's check out the rarest gems in Jay's collection. Kicking off the countdown at number 50 is the 1922 Will St. Clair. Jay Leno's 1922 Will St. Clair is a rare piece of automotive history. Designed by C.H. Wills, who helped develop the Ford Model T, this car featured one of the earliest overhead cam V8 engines, a cutting-edge design in the 1920s. It was 7 times more powerful than a Model T, but also near 10 times the price, making it a commercial failure despite its advanced engineering. Leno's 1922 Will St. Clair spent decades abandoned in a desert storage container, enduring extreme heat and rodent infestation. Despite this, the car was largely intact when he acquired it, making it a prime candidate for full restoration. His team meticulously rebuilt the engine and interior while preserving its original character. With its precision engineering, smooth power delivery, and top speed of 75 miles per hour, the Will St. Clair was ahead of its time. But its high cost doomed the brand, and production ended in 1927. Today, surviving 1922 Will St. Clairs are exceptionally rare, with values ranging from $150,000 to $250,000. Next, at 49 is the 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado. Jay Leno has a soft spot for groundbreaking American engineering, and the 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado is exactly that. When Oldsmobile introduced the Toronado, it was the first American front-wheel drive car since the 1930s and packed a monstrous V8 under the hood. Leno picked up his 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado in the early 2000s, drawn to its ahead-of-its-time engineering, bold styling, and raw performance. Powering the 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado is a 425 cubic inch super rocket V8 cranking out 385 horsepower and 475 pounds of torque. Unlike most front-wheel drive cars, the Toronado used an innovative chain-driven transmission, allowing it to handle the V8's torque without issue. Leno completely restored his 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado, upgrading the brakes and suspension to modern standards while keeping the original styling and drivetrain intact. The restoration process cost over $150,000, making it a showpiece of what a classic American Grand Tourer could be. Oldsmobile built just over 40,000 units in 1966, but most have long since disappeared due to rust or neglect. The 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado could hit 135 miles per hour and run from 0 to 60 in under 8 seconds. Impressive for a front-wheel drive luxury coupe of its era. Originally priced at $4,700, pristine 66 Oldsmobile Toronados now fetch $50,000 or more under the hammer. Coming in at number 48 is the 1938 Tatra T87. Jay Leno loves cars with history, and the 1938 Tatra T87 is one of the most fascinating pre-war designs ever built. Designed by Czech engineer Hans Ledwinka, the Tatra T87 was decades ahead of its time, featuring an aerodynamic body, a rear-mounted air-cooled V8, and advanced engineering that influenced later designs, including the Volkswagen Beetle. Leno added the 1938 Tatra T87 to his collection in the early 2000s, drawn to its streamlined styling and groundbreaking technology. The 1938 Tatra T87 is powered by a 2.9-liter air-cooled V8, producing 75 horsepower. Modest by today's standards, but revolutionary for that era. The lightweight body and slippery aerodynamics gave the Tatra T87 a top speed of 100 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest cars of its time. Leno's Tatra T87 underwent a careful restoration, keeping everything original while ensuring it remained fully roadworthy. Tatra only built 3,023 units between 1936 and 1950, and surviving models are extremely rare, especially in fully functional condition. The 1938 Tatra T87 T87 was favored by European military officers and even used for long-distance expeditions. Originally priced at around $5,000, today a Tatra T87 in top condition sells for $150,000 or more at auctions like RM Sotheby's and Bonhams. Leno's 1938 Tatra T87 isn't just a collector's piece. It's a glimpse into the future, built nearly a century ago. Slotting in at number 47 is the 1906 Stanley Steamer Vanderbilt Cup Racer. Jay Leno has a deep appreciation for steam-powered cars, and the 1906 Stanley Steamer Vanderbilt Cup Racer is one of the rarest and most powerful steamers ever built. The Stanley brothers designed this racer to compete in the 1906 Vanderbilt Cup, an early American road race showcasing cutting-edge automotive technology. While steam cars were already fading in favor of gasoline engines, the 1906 Stanley Steamer Vanderbilt Cup Racer proved steam power still had an incredible performance potential. Leno added this piece of racing history to his collection in the 1990s, drawn to its engineering and raw speed. Unlike most early steam cars built for leisurely cruising, the 1906 Stanley Steamer Vanderbilt Cup Racer was all about performance. It featured a boiler producing 1,200 psi, powering a twin-cylinder steam engine capable of 30 horsepower. But with instant torque, it felt like much more. With a lightweight chassis and no transmission, it could hit 127 miles per hour, a staggering speed for the early 1900s. Leno's Stanley Steamer Vanderbilt Cup Racer underwent a full restoration, requiring extensive work to rebuild the boiler and drivetrain while keeping it historically accurate. Stanley only built a few racing spec steamers, making the 1906 Stanley Steamer Vanderbilt Cup Racer one of the rarest cars of its era. Originally costing around $2,500, today these historic steam racers can fetch over $250,000 at auctions like Bonhams and RM Sotheby's. Leno's 1906 Stanley Steamer Vanderbilt Cup Racer isn't just rare. It's proof that steam power once ruled the road. At number 46, it's the 1939 Lagonda V12. Jay Leno's 1939 Lagonda V12 is a rare pre-war masterpiece, blending British luxury with serious performance. Designed by W.O. Bentley, the same man behind the legendary Bentley brand, the Lagonda V12 was one of the finest Grand Tours of its time. Only 100 were built, making it a true collector's car. Under the hood, the Lagonda V12 packs a 4.5-liter naturally aspirated V12, producing 180 horsepower, a huge figure for the 1930s. With a top speed of 110 miles per hour, it was one of the fastest luxury cars of its era. The engine was fully aluminum, a rarity at the time, and featured twin SU carburetors for smooth power delivery. When new, the 1939 Lagonda V12 was a car for the ultra-wealthy, costing around 1,500 pounds, a fortune back in the day. Today, surviving Lagonda V12 sell for over $500,000. Leno's 1939 Lagonda V12 isn't just a classic. It's a rolling piece of automotive art from Britain's golden age. Coming in at number 45 is the 1953 Cunningham C3. Jay Leno's 1953 Cunningham C3 is an ultra-rare American Grand Tour with a racing pedigree. Built by Briggs Cunningham, a wealthy racing enthusiast who wanted to create an American car that could dominate Le Mans, the Cunningham C3 was the road-going version of his race cars. Only 25 were ever made, making the Cunningham C3 one of the rarest cars in Leno's collection. The Cunningham C3 was a true blend of American power and European craftsmanship. It featured a 331 cubic inch Chrysler Hemi V8 producing 220 horsepower, paired with a 3-speed manual transmission. That might not sound like much today, but in the early 50s, it was enough to push the Cunningham C3 past 130 miles per hour. Serious speed for the time. The car's body was hand-built in Italy by Vignali, giving it a sleek, coach-built look unlike anything else on American roads. Owning a Cunningham C3 wasn't just about the car. It was about being part of an elite club. Only the wealthiest buyers could afford one, and with so few built, each one remains a significant piece of American motorsports history. Leno's 1953 Cunningham C3 is more than a collector's item. It's a symbol of a time when American racing dreams went all the way to Le Mans. At number 44 is the 1989 Ford Shogun. Jay Leno's 1989 Ford Shogun is a true sleeper, an unassuming economy car with a supercar heart. Ford never built the Shogun. It was a creation of automotive madmen Chuck Beck and Rick Titus, who decided to shove a 220 horsepower Yamaha V6 from the Taurus SHO into the back of a tiny Ford Festiva. Only 7 were built, and Leno owns one of them. With a mid-engine layout, rear-wheel drive, and a curb weight under 2,200 pounds, the Ford Shogun could embarrass Ferraris and Porsches in a straight line. Leno's Shogun is even more ridiculous. He had it tuned to push 300 horsepower, turning an already absurd hot hatch into a true rocket. The widened fenders and massive rear tires give away its true nature, but to the untrained eye, it still looks like an economy car. Leno bought his Ford Shogun in the early 90s, drawn to its one-of-a-kind engineering and hilarious power-to-weight ratio. The Shogun was never a production car, meaning few people have ever seen one in person, let alone driven one. The 1989 Ford Shogun is everything Leno loves. Rare, outrageous, and built by people who simply wanted to go fast. The number 43 slot goes to the 1968 Pontiac Firebird Sprint. Jay Leno's 1968 Pontiac Firebird Sprint is one of the most unique muscle cars in his collection, and it's not because of a big block V8. Instead, this Firebird is powered by a 4.1-liter, 250 cubic inch overhead cam inline 6, a rare and innovative engine developed under John DeLorean's leadership at Pontiac. Unlike most Firebirds of the era, the Sprint was designed for European-style performance. Lighter, more balanced, and built for handling rather than raw horsepower. Leno's interest in the Firebird Sprint comes from its uncommon engineering. The overhead cam 6-cylinder was a rarity in American muscle cars, and with a 4-barrel carburetor and hotter cam, it produced 250 horsepower, impressive for a 6-cylinder at the time. Paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, a stiffer suspension, and optional front disc brakes, the Firebird Sprint delivered a more refined driving experience compared to its V8-powered counterparts. The Firebird Sprint was never a sales success. Out of nearly 110,000 Firebirds built in 1968, only a small percentage had the Sprint package, but that's exactly why it fits in Leno's garage. It's a piece of forgotten Pontiac history, a muscle car that dared to be different, and rare example of DeLorean's forward-thinking vision. Next up at 42 is the 1934 Duesenberg Walker Coupe. Jay Leno's 1934 Duesenberg Walker Coupe is pure American royalty. One of one, built for a level of luxury that even Duesenberg rarely attempted. Commissioned by pharmaceutical magnate Josiah Lilly, this one-of-a-kind Duesenberg was designed to be the most advanced and opulent coupe of its time. With its long, sweeping fenders, Art Deco bodywork, and a closed-roof design, it stands apart from the more common open-top Duesenbergs of the era. Leno, a longtime admirer of Duesenberg engineering, was drawn to the Walker Coupe's rarity and significance. Under the hood sits the legendary 420 cubic inch straight 8 supercharged to produce 265 horsepower, unheard of for a luxury car in the 1930s. It was built on the Duesenberg Model J chassis, but featured a custom aerodynamic aluminum body, making it one of the most advanced cars of its era. With a price tag of over $25,000 when new, a small fortune during the Great Depression, the Duesenberg Walker Coupe was built for the elite. Today, it remains one of the most valuable American classics, with estimates in the millions. Leno's appreciation for engineering, craftsmanship, and automotive history makes this one-off Duesenberg a true centerpiece in his collection. Coming in at number 41 is the 1931 Shotwell. Jay Leno's 1931 Shotwell is a true automotive unicorn. A one-off car hand-built by a teenager in his mother's basement. William Shotwell, a young engineering prodigy, designed and constructed this single-seat roadster from scratch, using whatever parts he could find. The fact that it still exists today is remarkable, but the fact that it ended up in Leno's collection makes it even better. Leno, a sucker for ingenious home-built machines, was immediately drawn to the Shotwell's backstory. This wasn't a production car or a big-budget project. It was pure passion and mechanical know-how, a perfect fit for Leno's appreciation of engineering craftsmanship. The 1931 Shotwell features a tiny but functional engine, a hand-formed body, and a simple, lightweight chassis. It's a reminder of an era when car enthusiasts didn't just dream about building cars, they actually built them. There's no other car like it. The 1931 Shotwell is the only one ever made, making it one of the rarest cars in Leno's collection. More than just a curiosity, it's a testament to creativity, perseverance, and engineering ingenuity, qualities that Leno values as much as horsepower. At number 40, we have the 2013 McLaren P1. Jay Leno's McLaren P1 is a modern masterpiece, a hybrid hypercar that redefines performance. As a longtime McLaren fan and one of the first McLaren F1 owners in America, Leno didn't hesitate when the P1 was announced. This wasn't just another supercar. It was McLaren's first attempt at a hybrid hypercar, blending Formula One technology with cutting-edge electrification. The McLaren P1 combines a 3.8-liter twin-turbo V8 with an electric motor, producing a staggering 903 horsepower and 664 pounds of torque. It's brutally fast, hitting 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds and a top speed of 217 miles per hour. But what really impressed Leno was the instant power assist system, where the electric motor eliminates turbo lag, delivering seamless, immediate acceleration. The active aerodynamics and adjustable suspension make it as precise on the track as it is on the street. McLaren built only 375 P1s, and Leno's is one of the first delivered in the US. Unlike many collectors who store their hypercars, he actually drives it, proving that a $1 million hybrid isn't just about numbers on paper. The P1 represents the future of performance, and for Leno, it's a bridge between McLaren's legendary past and its groundbreaking future. Number 39 goes to the 1934 Rolls-Royce Merlin. Jay Leno's 1934 Rolls-Royce Merlin is no ordinary pre-war luxury car. It's a beast powered by a World War II fighter plane engine. Leno has a deep appreciation for engineering brilliance, and when he saw a Rolls-Royce Phantom II chassis retrofitted with a 27-liter V12 from a Spitfire fighter plane, he had to have it. The Rolls-Royce Merlin V12, originally designed for aircraft like the Supermarine Spitfire and the P-51 Mustang, produces over 1,500 horsepower, an astronomical figure for a 1930s chassis. The sheer size of the engine dominates the car, with exhaust pipes spilling out like a hot rod on steroids. It's an engineering challenge to keep it streetable, but Leno relishes the madness of taming a fighter plane engine for the road. Only a handful of Rolls-Royce Merlin-powered cars exist, and Leno's is one of the most well-known. This isn't just a collector's piece. It's a tribute to mechanical excess, ingenuity, and history. Considering the prestige of the build, historical significance, and Jay Leno's ownership, estimates put its current value around $3 million to $5 million. Perhaps more if it were ever to be sold at auction or through a private sale. Slotting in at number 38 is the 1967 Lamborghini Miura. Jay Leno's Lamborghini Miura is a masterpiece from the era when supercars were born. The Miura didn't just change the game, it created the modern supercar template. Leno, a lifelong admirer of automotive breakthroughs, couldn't pass up owning one of the most revolutionary and beautiful Lamborghinis ever built. When the Miura debuted in 1966, it was the fastest production car in the world, boasting a mid-engine layout, something unheard of in the road cars at the time. Lamborghini packed a 4.0-liter V12 behind the seats, producing 350 horsepower in early models and up to 385 horsepower in later Miura SV versions. This setup gave the Miura insane handling and balance, making it the first true supercar. Leno's Miura is one of just 764 ever built, and today they're among the most sought-after collector cars on the planet. In its day, the Miura had a sticker price of around $20,000, an astronomical sum in the late 60s. Now, well-preserved mirrors regularly sell for $2 million to $3 million, with rare SV models exceeding $4 million. With its gorgeous baritone styling, legendary V12 soundtrack, and undeniable cultural impact, Leno's Mira is more than just another classic. It's a crown jewel in automotive history. Number 37 is the 2008 Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren. Jay Leno's Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren isn't just a supercar. It's a high-speed fusion of German engineering and British racing heritage. When Mercedes-Benz and McLaren teamed up in the early 2000s, they set out to create a modern Grand Tourer with Formula One DNA. Leno, always drawn to performance machines with history, added one to his collection, recognizing it as a rare collaboration between two automotive powerhouses. Under the hood sits a 5.4-liter supercharged V8, hand-built by AMG, producing 617 horsepower and 575 pounds of torque. Power is sent to the rear wheel through a 5-speed automatic, allowing the SLR to launch from 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds and reach a top speed 208 miles per hour, numbers that rival today's best supercars. Unlike most exotics, it's built with a front mid-engine layout, giving it a better balance and stability at high speeds. Only 2,157 units of the SLR McLaren were built between 2003 and 2010, making it one of the most exclusive Mercedes models ever. When new, it cost $450,000, a hefty price tag even by supercar standards. Today, values vary, with well-maintained SLR McLarens selling between $350,000 and $700,000, while ultra-low mileage versions can top $1 million. Blending luxury, speed, and racing pedigree, Leno's SLR McLaren is an instant classic with a permanent place in supercar history. And at number 36 is the 2015 Ford Mustang Shelby GT350R. Leno's Ford Mustang Shelby GT350R is a nod to American muscle and track-focused performance. When Carroll Shelby first built the GT350 in 1965, it was a lightweight, race-ready version of the Mustang, and the GT350R was its most hardcore variant. Ford revived the GT350R nameplate in 2015, delivering a flat-plane crank V8, track-tuned suspension, and aggressive aerodynamics, everything Leno admires in a high-performance machine. Under the hood is a 5.2-liter Voodoo V8, pushing out 526 horsepower and 429 pounds of torque, a high-revving beast with a red line of 8,250 RPM, one of the highest of any production V8. Paired with a 6-speed manual transmission, it delivers an old-school driving experience with modern-day precision. Carbon fiber wheels, a revised aero package, and a stripped-down interior keep the GT350R as light and agile as possible. While Ford produced 5,643 Shelby GT350Rs between 2015 and 2020, its track performance and rarity make it a sought-after collector's car. Originally priced around $74,000, today values have climbed. Low mileage examples can fetch between $90,000 and $120,000, with special editions demanding even more. With its race-ready pedigree and raw V8 power, Leno's GT350R is an instant American classic with an undeniable Shelby legacy. Number 35 is the 1991 Lamborghini Diablo. Jay Leno's 1991 Lamborghini Diablo represents the last era of old-school, no-nonsense supercars before electronic aids took over. The Diablo was Lamborghini's first production car to break 200 miles per hour. When Chrysler briefly owned Lamborghini in the late 1980s, they refined the wild Italian design while keeping its brutal V12 performance intact, something that fascinated Leno. At its heart is a 5.7-liter naturally aspirated V12, producing 485 horsepower and 428 pounds of torque. That power is sent to the rear wheels through a 5-speed gated manual, a setup that demands full driver engagement. The Diablo rockets from 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds and tops out at 202 miles per hour. Supercar numbers that made it one of the fastest cars of its time. Leno's Diablo is a first-year model, meaning it has no ABS. no power steering, and a pure mechanical feel. Lamborghini built just 873 units of the early rear-wheel drive Diablo, making it rarer than later models. Originally priced at $210,000 in 1991, today, well-maintained Diablos sell for anywhere between $250,000 and $350,000, with special variants going even higher. For Leno, the Diablo is a reminder of when supercars were raw, loud, and untamed, just the way he likes them. Up next at 34 is the 1966 Dodge Coronet police car. The 1966 Dodge Coronet police car is a no-nonsense pursuit machine from an era when brute force and simple mechanics ruled law enforcement fleets. Jay Leno appreciates classic cop cars because they represent a time when power and durability mattered more than gadgets and computers. This Coronet wasn't just a dressed-up sedan. It was built to chase down speeders and outlaws with big block muscle under the hood. Dodge offered police departments multiple engine choices, but the real highway enforcer was the 426 Street Hemi V8, pushing out 425 horsepower. With a torque-flight automatic transmission and heavy-duty suspension, the Coronet police car was built to run hard all day long. The black steel wheels, spotlight, and push bar gave it an unmistakable presence on the road. Leno's Coronet is a time capsule of mid-60s law enforcement, complete with original markings and period-correct equipment. These cars were built for duty, not collectability, so very few survived intact. Dodge never released production numbers for the police package, making an unrestored Hemi-powered Coronet a rare find today. In 1966, a Dodge Coronet police car cost around $3,500. Today, an authentic Hemi-powered version can bring $100,000 or more, depending on the condition. For Leno, this Coronet isn't just an old cop car. It's a reminder of when high-speed chases relied on horsepower, not computer chips. Number 33 is the 1989 Lamborghini Countach 25th Anniversary Edition. Jay Leno's Lamborghini Countach 25th Anniversary Edition is the final evolution of one of the most iconic supercars ever built. By 1988, the Countach had been in production for nearly 15 years, and Lamborghini needed a send-off worthy of its legacy. The 25th Anniversary Edition, designed with input from Horacio Pagani, refined the wild styling with new aerodynamics and larger air intakes, making it the most advanced and powerful version ever made. Under the rear deck lid sits the 5.2-liter V12, producing 455 horsepower and 369 pounds of torque, paired with a 5-speed gated manual. The 0-60 sprint takes 4.7 seconds with a top speed of 183 miles per hour. Numbers that kept it competitive with newer supercars of the time. The revised aerodynamics and suspension tweaks made it the most drivable Countach, though still a handful by modern standards. Lamborghini produced 657 units of the 25th Anniversary Countach, making it a relatively rare final edition. Originally sold for around $145,000, today these cars regularly fetch $500,000 to $750,000 depending on condition. For Leno, the Lamborghini Countach 25th Anniversary Edition represents the peak of a poster car dream, a machine that turned childhood fantasies into reality. Coming in at number 32 is the 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing Coupe. The 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing isn't just one of the most iconic cars in Jay Leno's garage. It's one of the most important sports cars ever built. With its cutting-edge engineering, race-bred performance, and unmistakable design, the 300 SL changed the game for production sports cars in the 1950s. At the heart of the 300 SL Gullwing is a 3.0-liter inline-six with Bosch mechanical fuel injection, making it the world's first fuel-injected production car. It produced 215 horsepower, pushing the Gullwing to 160 miles per hour, a staggering speed for the 1950s. The car's lightweight tubular space frame required the use of top hinge doors, giving it the legendary Gullwing look. Leno appreciates engineering excellence, and the 300 SL Gullwing was a technical marvel. It was directly inspired by Mercedes' W194 race car, and only 1,400 gull wings were ever built between 1954 and 1957. Its blend of race-winning technology and road-going refinement made it one of the most sought-after cars of its time. In 1955, the 300 SL Gullwing had a price tag of $7,295, astronomical for the era. Today, pristine units regularly sell for $1.5 to $2.5 million, securing its place as one of the most valuable and desirable classics in the world. Number 31 goes to the 1918 Cadillac Type 57 Victoria. Jay Leno's 1918 Cadillac Type 57 Victoria is a remarkable survivor, an unrestored, nearly pristine example of one of the most groundbreaking cars of its time. Cadillac was the first automaker to mass-produce a V8-powered passenger car. The Type 57 was a game-changer. Built during the final year of World War I, it set the standard for luxury and engineering, proving itself both on the battlefield and American roads. Leno appreciates originality and innovation, and the Type 57's 314 cubic inch V8 was cutting edge in 1918. Producing about 70 horsepower, it delivered a smooth, refined ride when most cars were still using four-cylinder engines. The 3-speed manual transmission and advanced electrical system made it one of the most sophisticated automobiles of its era. What makes the 1918 Cadillac Type 57 Victoria special to Leno is its historical significance. Many were used as military staff cars during World War I, proving Cadillac's engineering under extreme conditions. Leno's 1918 Cadillac Type 57 Victoria, however, has survived the last century untouched, preserving its authenticity and craftsmanship. Originally priced at $3,500, a small fortune at the time, today an unrestored, near-perfect 1918 Cadillac Type 57 Victoria like Leno's could be worth over $100,000. At number 30, we have the 1957 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. Jay Leno's 1957 Cadillac Coupe de Ville is more than just a stunning classic. It carries a personal story. Leno acquired the car from a World War II veteran who had cherished it for years but no longer could maintain it. Wanting to preserve both the car and its history, Leno took on the restoration himself, bringing it back to its former glory. The 1957 Coupe de Ville was a pinnacle of American luxury, bringing bold tail fins, a massive chrome grille, and Cadillac's signature pillarless hardtop design. Powering this elegant cruiser was a 365 cubic inch V8, producing 300 horsepower, paired with a 4-speed hydromatic automatic transmission for smooth, effortless driving. Cutting edge for its time, it came equipped with power steering, power brakes, and optional air conditioning, making it one of the most comfortable rides of the era. New, the 1957 Cadillac Coupe de Ville was priced at $4,600, a status symbol for those who could afford it. Today, restored examples can command $60,000 to $100,000, though Leno's personal connection to his makes it priceless in his collection. Number 29 is the 1956 Packard Caribbean. Jay Leno's 1956 Packard Caribbean is a tribute to the final days of a legendary American luxury brand. As one of the most extravagant Packards ever built, the Caribbean stood out with its bold tritone paint schemes, massive chrome accents, and opulent interior. It was Packard's last attempt to compete with Cadillac, but despite its innovation and craftsmanship, the company folded shortly after. Under the hood, the 1956 Caribbean featured a 374 cubic inch V8, the largest engine Packard ever produced, delivering 310 horsepower. It was also equipped with Packard's revolutionary torsion-level suspension, an advanced self-leveling system that provided an incredibly smooth ride. Standard luxury features included power windows, power seats, and a push-button Ultramatic transmission, a rarity at the time. With a sticker price of $5,995, the 1956 Caribbean was a premium offering, but only 276 convertibles were ever built, making it one of the rarest Packards. Today, these elegant machines are valued between $100,000 and $150,000, with pristine examples commanding even more. Leno's Caribbean stands as both a piece of American automotive history and a reminder of Packard's once dominant legacy. Sliding in at number 28 is the 1964 Dodge Polara. Jay Leno's 1964 Dodge Polara embodies everything he loves about American classic muscle: raw power, understated styling, and a connection to an era when automakers automakers pushed the limits of street performance. A fan of Mopar engineering, Leno appreciates the brutal acceleration and no-nonsense design of the Polara, which was a direct response to the horsepower wars of the 1960s. Under the hood, the Polara is powered by a 426 Max Wedge V8, an engine Dodge developed for both the street and the drag strip. Producing 425 horsepower, it was a factory-built racer, complete with high-flow cylinder heads, a cross-ram intake manifold, and free-flowing headers. The car's lightweight unibody construction gave it a staggering power-to-weight ratio, something Leno admires in any high-performance classic. Beyond performance, the 1964 Polara also represents an era of pure, unfiltered American engineering. Leno often highlights how Dodge designed the car with function over form. No excessive chrome or luxury features, just a straightforward, go-fast machine. The stacked headlights, aggressive grille, and muscular stance give it an unmistakable presence, but it's what's under the hood that truly matters. Survivors in good condition can fetch $70,000 to $120,000, while fully documented Max Wedge models can exceed $150,000 under the hammer. For Leno, the Polara is more than just a collectible. It's a reminder of when muscle cars were built for speed, not marketing gimmicks. Number 27 goes to the 2006 Ariel Atom. The 2006 Ariel Atom is one of the rawest, most exhilarating driving machines ever built, and Jay Leno owns a piece of its history, the very first Ariel Atom produced in the United States. When Ariel partnered with Bramo Motorsports in Oregon in 2005 to bring the lightweight track weapon to American soil, Leno secured chassis number 001, adding it to his extensive collection of performance-focused cars. What makes the Ariel Atom so special is its stripped-down, minimalist design, built purely for speed and handling. With no roof, no doors, and an exposed exoskeletal frame, it weighs just 1,350 pounds, making it one of the lightest high-performance cars ever made. Powering Leno's Atom is a 2.0-liter supercharged Honda K20 engine producing 300 horsepower. Thanks to its extreme power-to-weight ratio, the Atom can rocket from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, rivaling hypercars at a fraction of the cost. Leno loves the airity and driving feel, often comparing it to a four-wheeled motorcycle. With no electronic aids, no distractions, and a direct connection between the driver and the road, it's an unfiltered driving experience. His chassis number 001 Atom remains a significant piece of American automotive history, marking the beginning of U.S. production for one of the most extreme performance cars ever made. At number 26, we have the 1966 Lincoln Continental. The 1966 Lincoln Continental wasn't just another luxury car. It was a rolling symbol of prestige, craftsmanship, and engineering excellence. This generation of the Continental carried forward the timeless suicide doors, a design element that made it instantly recognizable and associated with ultimate exclusivity. Jay Leno, known for his appreciation of historically significant automobiles, owns one of these land yacht masterpieces, valuing it both for craftsmanship and effortless road presence. Under the hood, the 462 cubic inch V8, producing 340 horsepower and a staggering 485 pounds of torque, gave the Continental the kind of effortless power that defined American luxury cars of the 1960s. Designed for smooth highway cruising, the car's unibody construction provided a level of structural rigidity and ride comfort that was ahead of its time. Paired with an advanced coil spring suspension, the Continental delivered an ultra-plush ride, making it feel like you were floating down the road. What truly sets the 1966 Continental apart is its blend of presidential-level prestige and innovative engineering. This was the same car that chauffeured world leaders in Hollywood's elite, and it remains one of the most coveted classic luxury sedans today. For Leno, the 1966 Lincoln Continental represents the last era of truly handcrafted American luxury. Slotting in at number 25 is the 1989 Bentley Turbo R. The 1989 Bentley Turbo R is a standout in Jay Leno's collection because it represents a turning point for Bentley. A moment when the brand shook off its reputation for being just a luxurious afterthought to Rolls-Royce and became something far more dynamic. Leno, a fan of cars that blend power and history, appreciates how the Turbo R took Bentley from a quiet, chauffeur-driven brand to one that demanded to be driven. At the heart of the Turbo R is the 6.75-liter turbocharged V8, delivering around 300 horsepower and 487 pounds of torque. Unlike earlier Bentleys, which prioritized comfort over performance, the Turbo R was engineered for driving enthusiasts. Bentley stiffened the suspension, added sportier dampers, and fitted wider, more aggressive tires, turning it into a genuine high-performance machine rather than just a fast luxury car. What makes the 1989 model year particularly special is that it marked one of the earliest Turbo R models to receive fuel injection, making it more efficient and responsive than its carbureted predecessors. One of the biggest reasons Leno values this car is that it embodies the era when Bentley was reasserting its identity. Before the Turbo R, Bentley models were often seen as badge-engineered Rolls-Royces, but the Turbo R changed that. It was a driver's car, setting the foundation for modern high-performance Bentleys like the Continental GT. Today, the 1989 Bentley Turbo R remains one of the most significant models in Bentley's history, a car that combined old-world craftsmanship with serious power. Up to number 24, we have the 1966 Chevrolet Yenko Stinger Stage 2. Jay Leno's Yenko Stinger Stage 2 is one of the rarest and most sought-after Corvairs ever built. Don Yenko was known for turning ordinary Chevrolets into track-dominating monsters, and the 1966 Yenko Stinger Stage 2 was no exception. Based on the second-generation Chevrolet Corvair, the Stinger transformed the rear-engine coupe into a true racing machine, built to take on Porsche 911s in SCCA competition. Under the deck lid sits a modified 164 cubic inch flat 6, tuned to produce 190 horsepower, a massive leap from the stock Corvair. Unlike most American muscle cars of the era, the Stinger focused on handling rather than raw horsepower, thanks to its lightweight fiberglass body panels, upgraded suspension, and 4-speed manual transmission. Leno has always appreciated cars with unique engineering, and the Stinger's rear-engine air-cooled layout makes it an outlier among American performance cars. In Jay Leno's garage, he has praised the car's balance and agility, calling it one of the most underrated performance cars of the 1960s. While Corvairs were often criticized for their handling, the Stinger, especially the Stage 2 variant with even more aggressive tuning, proved that the platform could be a serious track contender. Today, surviving Yenko Stingers are incredibly rare, with values often exceeding $100,000. At number 23 is the 1931 Duesenberg Model J Town Car. The Duesenberg Model J is widely regarded as one of the greatest American automobiles ever built, and Jay Leno's 1931 Duesenberg Model J Town Car is an especially rare example. Leno discovered the car in an underground parking garage off Park Avenue in New York. It had been sitting there, virtually untouched, with just 7,000 miles on the odometer. Even more remarkable was the original family still owned it, preserving it for decades. Mechanically, the Model J was decades ahead of its time. Under the hood is a 420 cubic inch straight 8 engine, producing 265 horsepower, a staggering figure in the early 1930s. The car was built not just for luxury, but for performance, capable of speeds over 115 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest road cars of its era. Most Model Js were fitted with extravagant custom coachwork by top-tier builders like Murphy and LeBaron, but Leno's Town Car is unique because it lacks coachwork modifications, allowing enthusiasts to appreciate the car's mechanical brilliance without distractions. For Leno, the Duesenberg isn't just a static museum piece. It's a driver's car. Today, Duesenberg Model Js are among the most valuable classic cars in the world, with well-preserved units regularly selling for over $1 million. At number 22, the 1950 Nash Ambassador Custom. Jay Leno's 1950 Nash Ambassador Custom represents one of the most innovative American cars of its era. Nash was ahead of the competition in the early 50s, introducing unitized body construction, advanced aerodynamics, and an emphasis on fuel efficiency, features that set it apart from larger, bulkier competitors. Under the hood, the Ambassador Custom came equipped with a 234 cubic inch overhead valve inline 6, producing 115 horsepower. While not a powerhouse, it was designed for smooth highway cruising and fuel efficiency, achieving over 25 miles per gallon, a remarkable feat at the time. Nash also offered an optional dual-carburetor Le Mans engine inspired by their endurance racing efforts. What makes Leno's Nash special is its originality and engineering significance. The Ambassador was one of the first American cars to feature fully reclining front seats, effectively turning it into a makeshift sleeper car, an innovation that would later be adopted by other automakers. Leno appreciates the Nash for its forward-thinking design and practicality, often highlighting how the company prioritized efficiency decades before it became a mainstream concern. Well-preserved Nash Ambassador Customs are rare today, but if you find one, be ready to fork out between $20,000 and $40,000 for high-quality restorations. Number 21 is the 1972 Mercedes-Benz 600. Jay Leno's 1972 Mercedes-Benz 600 SWB is the only 600 in existence. Originally designed as Mercedes-Benz flagship luxury sedan, the 600 was built without cost restrictions, featuring an advanced hydraulic system that powered nearly every function, including the windows, seats, sunroof, trunk, and even the doors. Known for its unparalleled engineering, the 600 became a favorite among world leaders, celebrities, and business tycoons. Leno's short-wheelbase 600 underwent a meticulous restoration by Carl Middelhoff, one of the foremost experts on these cars. Middelhoff carefully retained nearly every original component, from the hose clamps and screws to the hand-finished wood trim, preserving the car's authenticity while enhancing its performance. What makes this 600 truly unique is Middelhoff's addition of a supercharger, turning it into the only 600 compressor ever built. The original 6.3-liter M100 V8 made around 250 horsepower, but with a supercharger, the output is nearly doubled, giving this luxury limousine the acceleration of a muscle car. Restored 600 models typically range from $150,000 to $300,000, but Leno's one-of-a-kind supercharged version is truly priceless. Slotting in at number 20 is the 1959 Oldsmobile Super 88. The 1959 Oldsmobile Super 88 in Jay Leno's garage is a prime example of late 50s American excess, featuring an abundance of chrome, dramatic tail fins, and jet-age styling. As a mid-tier model between the entry-level Dynamic 88 and high-end 98, the Super 88 offered both luxury and performance. Under the hood, this Oldsmobile packs a 394 cubic inch 6.5-liter rocket V8, which produced 315 horsepower and a hefty 435 pounds of torque, a significant jump from earlier rocket engines. Mated with a Jetaway Hydromatic automatic transmission, the 59 Oldsmobile Super 88 delivered a smooth yet powerful ride, making it a favorite for highway cruising. Leno, a well-known admirer of 1950s American engineering, appreciates the Super 88 for its over-the-top styling and mechanical innovation. This model introduced the Vista panoramic windshield, an expansive curved glass design that gave drivers a wider field of view. Inside, the car boasted space-age dash layouts, two-tone upholstery, and push-button radio controls, adding to its futuristic appeal. Despite its size and weight, the Super 88 was one of the fastest full-size cars of its era, competing with Chrysler's 300 series and Buick's Invicta. Well-preserved 59 Oldsmobile Super 88s today can fetch $30,000 to $60,000, but Leno's version, with its originality and pristine condition, could be worth way more. And at number 19 is the 1932 Packard Twin 6. Jay Leno owns a 1932 Packard Twin 6 purchased from Phil Hill, the first American to win a Formula One World Championship. His Packard is a green coupe with a 445.5 cubic inch 7.3-liter V12, producing 160 horsepower, a powerful engine for its time. The Twin 6 was Packard's return to V12 engines, a response to Cadillac's competition. It featured a 3-speed manual transmission, a vacuum-assisted clutch, and manually adjustable suspension, allowing the driver to fine-tune the ride for different road conditions. Unlike many high-end luxury cars of its era, the Twin 6 prioritized mechanical refinement over excessive ornamentation. Leno's Twin 6 remains a prime example of Packard's engineering excellence, known for its smooth, effortless power delivery. Packard designed the car for long-distance touring, with an advanced chassis for better handling compared to many contemporaries. It also featured a rumble seat, an elegant yet practical feature for additional passengers. Packard produced the Twin 6 for only 3 years, 1932 to 1934, before renaming it the Packard 12, making early models rare. Leno appreciates the car's direct link to Phil Hill, a racer known for his deep understanding of pre-war automobiles. Owning a car from Hill's collection adds to its provenance, making it a well-documented piece of automotive history. Next, at number 18 is the 1957 Buick Roadster. Leno's 1957 Buick Roadster is a prime example of late 1950s American luxury. The Roadmaster nameplate had long been Buick's flagship, and the 1957 model was no exception. That year, Buick introduced an all-new chassis and a longer, lower body design, emphasizing the brand's shift toward performance and prestige. Under the hood, the Roadmaster came equipped with a 364 cubic inch nailhead V8 producing 300 horsepower, paired with Buick's Dynaflow automatic transmission. One standout feature of the 57 Roadster was its striking chrome grille and signature Delta fin rear fenders, giving it a commanding presence on the road. Inside, the cabin was lined with premium materials, offering power seats, power windows, and a host of other luxury features. Leno's Roadster was meticulously restored to maintain its original grandeur while ensuring it remains a reliable driver. Buick's engineering made the Roadster one of the smoothest riding cars of its time, thanks to its coil spring suspension and robust frame. While many Roadsters of this era faded into obscurity, Leno's unit stands as a well-preserved piece of American automotive history. Coming in at 17, it's the 1968 Dodge Dart GTS. Jay Leno's 1968 Dodge Dart GTS is a factory-built street brawler, combining a lightweight A-body chassis with a high-performance big block V8. Dodge produced the GTS as a response to Chevrolet's Nova SS and Ford's Fairlane GT, ensuring it could hold its own in both street and strip racing. Under the hood, the 68 Dodge Dart GTS packs a 383 cubic inch Magnum V8, rated at 300 horsepower and 400 pounds of torque. Paired with a heavy-duty TorqueFlite automatic transmission and a 8 3/4 inch rear end with 3.91 gears, the setup allows the vehicle to achieve quarter-mile times in the high 13-second range straight from the factory. The 68 Dodge Dart GTS came standard with front disc brakes, reinforced suspension components, and staggered rear shocks to counter axle hop under hard acceleration. Leno's 68 Dodge Dart GTS remains in factory original condition, with its performance components intact. Unlike the Hemi Darts built for drag racing, the 383-powered GTS was street legal while still delivering serious speed. To top things off, the 68 Dodge Dart GTS features a functional cold air induction system with twin hood scoops, optimizing airflow for maximum power output. For Leno, the Dart GTS represents one of Dodge's most underrated muscle cars, offering big block performance in a compact, no-nonsense package. Number 16 is the 1964 Aston Martin DB5 Goldfinger. Jay Leno's Aston Martin DB5 Goldfinger Edition isn't just another classic British Grand Tourer. It's a fully functional homage to James Bond's most iconic car. Built by Aston Martin in collaboration with Eon Productions, this limited edition DB5 was meticulously recreated to match the legendary 007 vehicle from Goldfinger in 1964. Under the hood, the DB5 retains its 4.0-liter inline-six engine, producing 290 horsepower, mated to a 5-speed manual transmission. However, what sets this car apart is its working spy gadgets, engineered by the same team responsible for Bond's on-screen cars. Leno's DB5 features retractable machine guns, a bulletproof rear shield, a smokescreen system, rotating license plates, and a simulated tire-slashing mechanism, all operable via hidden switches. Unlike the original film car, which had most of its effects manually rigged for the cameras, this recreation integrates modern engineering, making all the gadgets fully functional, minus the real bullets. Only 25 units of the Goldfinger DB5 exist, making it one of the rarest Aston Martins ever built. For Leno, this isn't just a collector's piece, it's a childhood dream brought to life. At number 15, we have the 2001 Blastoline Special Twin Turbo. Few cars in Jay Leno's collection are as extreme as the Blastoline Special Twin Turbo. Originally built by Randy Grubb, this massive roadster is powered by a 12-liter M47 patent tank engine, a power plant designed for armored warfare, not public streets. Leno purchased the car in 2003 for $125,000, but he didn't stop there. He had it heavily modified to push its already absurd performance even further. The biggest upgrade, a twin turbocharging system engineered by Gale Banks, transforming the tank engine into a 1,600 horsepower monster with 1,590 pounds of torque. This setup not only improves performance, but also allows for more manageable power band, making the car surprisingly drivable despite its enormous size. The hand-built aluminum body stretches over 20 feet in length and sits on a custom chassis, giving it a stance that resembles a pre-war land speed racer on steroids. The transmission is a 6-speed Allison automatic, a necessity given the sheer torque output. Despite its military roots and extreme engineering, Leno actually drives the Blastoline Special on public roads. He's been seen taking it to car shows, and the sight of the enormous, flame-spitting machine rumbling down Los Angeles streets is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Coming into the number 14 position is the 1928 Bugatti Type 37A. Jay Leno's 1928 Bugatti Type 37A is a prime example of pre-war engineering at its finest. The Type 37A was a supercharged version of the standard Type 37, featuring a 1.5-liter straight-four engine fitted with a Roots-type supercharger. The setup produced 90 horsepower, a significant boost over the naturally aspirated model's 60 horsepower, and allowed the car to reach speeds over 100 miles per hour, a staggering figure for the 1920s. Leno's Bugatti Type 37A retains its original chassis and bodywork, preserving its authenticity as a vintage racing car. Like all Bugattis of the era, it was designed with lightweight materials, utilizing aluminum wheels and a slim, purpose-built frame to maximize performance. This model was one of only 76 built, making it a rare and desirable collector's item. It was a direct descendant of the legendary Bugatti Type 35, which dominated Grand Prix racing in the 1920s. The 37A was effectively a smaller, more accessible alternative, but still maintained the signature precision handling, mechanical simplicity, and race-winning pedigree of its larger sibling. Leno frequently drives the Bugatti, enjoying its razor-sharp steering and mechanical feedback. A 1928 Bugatti Type 37A Grand Prix sold for $747,500 at RM Sotheby's Monterey auction, and another unit fetched $962,500 at RM Sotheby's Amelia Island event. At number 13, it's the 1950 Plymouth Suburban. Jay Leno's 1950 Plymouth Suburban is a prime example of post-war American ingenuity. As one of the first all-steel station wagons, it marked a shift away from high-maintenance wood-bodied wagons. Built for function over form, the Suburban was the go-to choice for tradesmen, traveling salesmen, and families needing a tough, practical vehicle. What makes Leno's Suburban special is its originality and survivor status. Many of these wagons were driven hard and scrapped, making well-preserved examples rare today. The 218 cubic inch 3.6-liter flathead 6-cylinder engine delivers 97 horsepower, enough for highway cruising in its era. Its 3-speed manual transmission with a column shifter known as 3 on the tree was a staple of American cars at the time. A distinct feature of the 1950 model was its rear cargo space with a fold-flat tailgate, which made it ideal for hauling gear. Leno's 1950 Plymouth Suburban retains its teal green paint and mohair upholstery, making it a time capsule from an era when station wagons ruled the roads. While it may not have the flash of other cars in its collection, it represents an important piece of American automotive history. Next at 12 is the 1913 Mercer Raceabout. Leno's collection includes a 1913 Mercer Type 37J Raceabout, one of the earliest true American sports cars. One of Leno's most famous stories about this car involves a lawsuit. While driving the Mercer on the 405 freeway in Los Angeles, he was sued for causing a crash, simply because another driver was distracted by the sight of the rare vehicle. The court ruled in Leno's favor, acknowledging that he was simply driving a historically accurate car, not creating a spectacle. Mercer, founded in Trenton, New Jersey, built some of the first true sports cars, and the Raceabout was a favorite among enthusiasts of the era. Powered by a 301 cubic inch T-head inline 4, this lightweight machine produced 34 horsepower. a significant figure for its time, paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. Tipping the scales at 2,100 pounds, the Mercer Type 35J Raceabout could reach over 70 miles per hour, an impressive feat in 1913. Leno's Raceabout retains its signature minimalist, open-top body designed purely for speed. It features cycle fenders, exposed fuel tanks, and a lack of doors, reinforcing its race-ready design. Adding to this, the 1913 Mercer Type 35J Raceabout boasts a raw, analog driving experience, requiring skill to operate its rear-wheel brakes and manual spark advanced system. With fewer than 5 dozen Mercers surviving, Leno's unit is an irreplaceable part of automotive history, showcasing America's early push into performance engineering. Up at number 11 is the 1958 Saab 93B. Among the many unique vehicles in Jay Leno's impressive collection, the 1958 Saab 93B is a standout. This Swedish gem caught Leno's eye due to its quirky features and nostalgic appeal. He fondly recalls a friend's mom owning one, which sparked his interest in the model. The 93B boasts a 38 horsepower, 3-cylinder, 750cc 2-stroke engine, producing a distinctive sound often likened to an angry hive of Swedish bees. It can reach up to 70 miles per hour with 4 people on board, which is impressive for its size. What makes this Saab truly special is its freewheeling mechanism, allowing the car to coast without engine braking when you lift off the gas. Leno appreciates its unique design crafted by airplane engineers, which gives it an aerodynamic edge. He's also intrigued by the water pump located on the generator's back end, showcasing Saab's innovative engineering. Leno upgraded his 93B with a 4-speed transmission from another Saab model, enhancing its driving experience. Moving into the number 10 position, we have the 1994 McLaren F1. Jay Leno's McLaren F1 isn't just a car, it's the ultimate supercar, a machine that changed automotive history. Designed by Gordon Murray, the McLaren F1 was an engineering masterpiece, featuring a central driving position, a naturally aspirated BMW V12, and a no-compromise approach to speed. Leno picked up his McLaren F1 in the late 1990s, long before prices skyrocketed, recognizing its significance as the world's first true hypercar. Under the hood, the McLaren F1 packs a 6.1-liter BMW V12, producing 627 horsepower and 480 pounds of torque. Weighing just 2,509 pounds thanks to its carbon fiber monocoque chassis, the first of its kind in a production car, the McLaren F1 can hit 240 miles per hour, making it the fastest production car in the world for years. Leno's McLaren F1 remains in pristine condition, regularly driven and meticulously maintained by his team of mechanics. McLaren only built 106 units with just 64 road cars, making the McLaren F1 one of the most valuable cars in Leno's collection. Originally sold for $815,000, today a McLaren F1 commands well over $20 million, with auction houses like RM Sotheby's and Gooding & Company setting record prices. Leno's McLaren F1 isn't just a supercar, it's the crown jewel of automotive engineering. Next, at number 9 is the 2017 Ford GT. Jay Leno was one of the first to take delivery of the 2017 Ford GT, Ford's no-compromise supercar built to dominate both the road and the racetrack. With its Le Mans winning heritage, wind-tunneled sculpted body, and cutting-edge aerodynamics, the 2017 Ford GT wasn't just another high-performance car. It was a modern engineering masterpiece. Ford hand-picked buyers, ensuring the 2017 Ford GT went to true enthusiasts rather than flippers. Leno, a lifelong Ford fan with a deep appreciation for racing history, was an obvious choice. Ford required 2017 GT owners to keep the car for 2 years. At its core, the 2017 Ford GT is powered by a 3.5-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6, pushing out 647 horsepower and 550 pounds of torque. Unlike its V8-powered predecessors, this supercar was built with efficiency and aerodynamics in mind. The active rear wing, adjustable ride height, and carbon fiber tub made the 2017 Ford GT a true track weapon. Leno didn't need to restore or modify it. Ford delivered the 2017 Ford GT in flawless race-ready condition. Production was strictly limited to 1,350 units, making the 2017 Ford GT an instant collector's item. With a top speed of 216 miles per hour, it was the fastest production car Ford ever built. Originally priced at $450,000, today the 2017 Ford GT sells for well over $1.5 million at auctions like Meacham and RM Sotheby's. At number 8, we have the 1971 Porsche 911T. Jay Leno's 1971 Porsche 911T is a rare survivor, maintaining much of its originality despite spending years neglected in a Beverly Hills parking garage. The car was parked underground in the 1990s and essentially abandoned. After the original owner passed away, Leno was offered the Porsche. Despite showing over 100,000 miles, he was drawn to its rust-free bodywork and mostly original paint. While the car remained largely intact, it required significant TLC. Restoration work included repairing crash damage, refreshing the interior, and touching up the paint, though Leno estimates 80% of it remains original. The distinctive brown color is a quintessential 1970s Porsche shade, giving the 911 a clean, period-correct look. Mechanically, the car has been updated, but Leno has kept it in line with Porsche's original engineering philosophy. The 911T is powered by a 2.2-liter flat-six producing 125 horsepower, paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, although a 5-speed was optional. Unlike the higher-performance 911S, it used carburetors instead of mechanical fuel injection. Weighing just over 2,300 pounds, the 911T's torsion bar suspension and lightweight chassis give it the nimble handling that made early 911s legendary. Today, a well-preserved 1971 Porsche 911T can be worth between $80,000 and $120,000, with pristine units exceeding that range. Leno's careful preservation adds to this car's desirability, making it a standout in his collection. At number 7, we have the 1959 Fiat Millicento. Jay Leno's 1959 Fiat Millicento is one of the smallest and most unassuming cars in his collection, yet its rarity and history make it a standout. Known as the Fiat 1100 in most markets, the Millicento was an advanced small car for its time, featuring unibody construction, independent front suspension, and a 4-cylinder engine known for its efficiency and reliability. Leno describes it as the most unthreatening car in his garage, a stark contrast to the high-powered supercars and muscle cars he owns. Unlike many cars in Leno's collection, the Millicento is not about speed or performance. It represents the charm of mid-century European motoring. Powered by a 1.1-liter inline-4 engine producing around 36 horsepower, the Millicento was never built for speed, but for affordability and usability. Weighing just over 1,800 pounds, it was light and nimble, with a column-shifted 4-speed manual transmission. Due to its limited presence in the US and the tendency for these small cars to rust away, good condition Millicentos are increasingly rare. Sliding into the number 6 spot is the 1962 Daimler SP250 Roadster. Jay Leno's 1962 Daimler SP250 Roadster is a rare example of the British fiberglass-bodied sports car known for its unique design and potent V8 engine. Originally owned by Bob Rozowski, this particular SP250 spent 4 decades exposed to harsh weather, snow, rain, and neglect before Leno acquired it in severely deteriorating condition. Unlike many of his cars that arrive in decent shape, this Daimler required an extensive ground-up restoration. Leno's restoration went beyond factory specifications. The car was built with an improved frame to address the structural weaknesses of the original design, and the engine was refined to extract better reliability and performance. While preserving its classic character, the car now benefits from modern craftsmanship, making it a far more roadworthy version than when it left the factory. The SP250 was Daimler's attempt to break into the American market, featuring a 2.5-liter Hemi-head V8 designed by Edward Turner. This lightweight engine produced around 140 horsepower, allowing the car to reach 120 miles per hour, impressive for the early 1960s. However, the model suffered from quality control issues and its styling was divisive, leading to limited production.
Due to their rarity and niche appeal, Daimler SP250s in excellent condition can range from $50,000 to $100,000, though Leno's well-documented restoration likely makes his version even more valuable. Coming in at number 5 is the 2006 GM EcoJet. Jay Leno's GM EcoJet is a one-of-a-kind machine, literally. Built as a collaboration between Leno and General Motors, the EcoJet was never sold to the public, making it one of the rarest cars in its collection. Inspired by jet-powered cars like the Chrysler Turbine, Leno wanted a futuristic supercar powered by something other than a traditional gasoline engine. The result? A biodiesel turbine-powered supercar that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. At the heart of the EcoJet is a Honeywell LT101 turbine engine, originally designed for helicopters, producing 650 horsepower and 400 pounds of torque. It runs on biodiesel, an alternative fuel that Leno has long supported. With a chassis based on the Corvette Z06, the EcoJet is built for performance, featuring a lightweight carbon fiber and aluminum body. While it was never officially tested for top speed, estimates suggest it could exceed 200 miles per hour. Since the GM EcoJet was never produced beyond Leno's prototype, its value is impossible to determine. However, given its exclusivity and innovative engineering, it would likely be worth millions if ever auctioned. Leno's EcoJet isn't just a concept. It's a glimpse into what the future of supercars could have been. Next at number 4 is the 1963 Chrysler Turbine Car. Jay Leno's 1963 Chrysler Turbine Car is one of the rarest and most futuristic cars ever built. Chrysler only made 55 of these revolutionary gas turbine-powered cars, and today, only 9 survive. Leno's Chrysler Turbine Car is one of the few in private hands, making it one of the most exclusive cars in his collection. At its heart is a Chrysler-designed turbine engine that could run on nearly anything: kerosene, diesel, and jet fuel. Mexican President Adolfo López Mateos even drove a 63 Chrysler turbine car on tequila. The 63 Chrysler turbine car was in a league of its own, producing 130 horsepower and 425 pounds of torque, delivering a smooth, high-revving power band unlike any piston engine of its time. The body was built by Ghia in Italy, giving it an elegant, jet-age design that looks straight out of the future. Chrysler never sold the turbine car to the public. After an extensive testing program, most of the cars were destroyed, leaving only a handful. Leno acquired his directly from Chrysler, ensuring that this piece of experimental automotive history would be preserved. The 1963 Chrysler Turbine Car represents a bold vision of the future that never was. One where cars didn't need gasoline and ran on nearly any fuel imaginable. At number 3, the 1932 Auburn 12 160A Custom. Jay Leno's 1932 Auburn 12 160A Custom is a perfect example of an era when American automakers dared to put V12 engines in cars that weren't reserved for the ultra-rich. Auburn, under the leadership of automotive visionary E.L. Cord, aimed to deliver high-performance, high-style automobiles at a fraction of the cost of Packard and Cadillac, and the 12 160A was a shining result of that philosophy. What makes this Auburn special to Leno is its blend of engineering excellence and Depression-era ingenuity. The heart of the Auburn is a Lycoming-built 391 cubic inch V12, producing 160 horsepower, an impressive figure for the time. The 1932 12 160A Custom arrived with an innovative freewheeling system, which allowed the car to coast without engine braking, improving fuel efficiency, a feature that wouldn't become mainstream until decades later. Leno's Auburn was acquired in largely original condition, but like most 90-year-old machines, it needed some mechanical freshening up. With its long hood, sweeping fenders, and signature boat tail rear end, it remains one of the most visually striking cars in his collection. While Auburn as a brand didn't survive the economic struggles of the 1930s, the 12 160A remains a sought-after collector's item today. Number 2 is the 1963 Jaguar XKE. Jay Leno's 1963 Jaguar XKE isn't just another E-Type. It's a one-of-a-kind factory experiment. This car started life as a standard Series 1 3.8-liter coupe, but Jaguar engineers modified it to test a 5.0-liter V12 years before the E-Type Series 3 officially introduced the 12-cylinder engine. This makes it the only 1963 Jaguar XKE V12 in existence. Leno's fascination with this prototype XKE stems from its significance in Jaguar's developmental history. The XKE, or E-Type as it's commonly known, was already a revolutionary sports car, blending speed, aerodynamics, and beauty like few others. But this V12 prototype represents the transition between the six-cylinder XKE and the later, more powerful Series 3 cars. With a custom engine bay, unique cooling modifications, and factory tweaks to accommodate the larger power plant, this isn't just another E-Type, it's an engineering time capsule. Jaguar never officially sold a V12 XKE until 1971, making this 1963 prototype the earliest known factory-built unit. With its racing pedigree, experimental engineering, and Jaguar's unmistakable design, this one-off XKE is an irreplaceable piece of British automotive history.
And finally, at the number 1 spot, it's the 2010 Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita. Jay Leno's Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita is one of the rarest and most extreme hypercars ever built, with only 2 in existence. Due to the complex production and the extensive time required to create the white carbon fiber weave, only 2 CCXRs were built, making the Trevita one of the most exclusive Koenigsegg created. The special edition CCXR got the name Trevita because of the special proprietary white carbon fiber weave. In the early days of carbon fiber manufacturing, weaves only came in black. It wasn't until Koenigsegg was able to develop this new type of weave, producing a silvery white sheen. Trevita is Swedish for 3 whites, originally intended for a production of 3 white CCXR. A twin supercharged 4.8-liter V8 delivers 1,018 horsepower on E85 ethanol, rocketing the Koenigsegg CCXR from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. With a top speed exceeding 250 miles per hour, it stands among the fastest road-legal cars ever made. The CCXR's aerodynamics, suspension, and engineering represent the peak of hypercar performance. Even to today's standards, the 4.8 million CCXR Trevita continues its legacy as one of Koenigsegg's rarest, most expensive, and most complex hypercars ever created. For Leno, this Koenigsegg is more than a collector's piece. It's a demonstration of what cutting-edge automotive engineering can achieve. If you love rare and legendary muscle cars, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more deep dives into automotive history.